Welcome to another edition of ATL Prime Sports. I'm JJ Jurjevich. Joining me this evening is Todd TC Corder on the other side of Atlanta and our fabulous producer Wayne in Memphis, Tennessee. Let's take care of some business here at ATL Prime Sports. You can find us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. If you're listening on Apple Podcast or Spotify, give us a review, give us a rating, whatever it takes. Personals at JJ Get You One for myself, at RWY Jr. for our fabulous producer Wayne, and at Corder Todd for TC Todd Corder. Guys, how's everybody doing tonight?
Doing pretty well. Memphis is on a winning streak, and they got Cincinnati tomorrow night, and I'm looking forward to beating the Bearcats.
Doing great. Got a full house, family in town. That's why I forgot to call you back, JJ. Sorry about that. It was a pretty good Super Bowl. I wouldn't give it an A, probably a B. I expected more offense. The defenses really surprised me. It was a game that didn't even, 23 to 20. It didn't even go the over. It was under. And, oh, by the way, congratulations, JJ. You won the Pick Six championship, which means we all really suck because we are under 500.
Even the experts only get about 50% to 60%, so I consider myself, I think 12 games under was the final. We'll go over that later. I'm doing pretty good. I thought it was a pretty good Super Bowl, good halftime show, funny commercials. Me being a younger guy, I love the Cable Guy Jim Carrey commercial. Thought that was hilarious. So some ups and downs in the Super Bowl, and it ended the way I called it with Cooper Kupp being the MVP, so I'm doing pretty good. What's on tap for today? We are going to do our Super Bowl reaction show. That's it. That's all we're doing on ATL Prime Sports today. So, Wayne, take us away. We're going to do a little switcheroo on ATL Prime Sports tonight.
All right. This is the way we're running the show. It's going to be 9 questions. It would have been 10 questions, but 9 is all we need. And I'm going to ask the first question, which has no time limit, but I need y'all to answer those questions concisely. And all the rest of the questions will have a 1.5-minute time limit, and I'll throw up my hand when your time is done. First question, I'm going to send this off to JJ first. 3 takeaways from the game. Go.
First takeaway's got to be Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase. Wasn't the fireworks show we were expecting. Both receivers had big plays in the first half, and then capped off with Cooper Kupp's touchdown drive where he really took over in the fourth quarter. That's my first takeaway. Second takeaway's got to be Aaron Donald. What a bad man. He really proved why he's the best player in the NFL. And my third takeaway has got to be, let's go with the fun one. Evan McPherson, the kicker that you guys so much love, sat and watched the halftime show.
Yeah.
I thought that was super cool. You never see players out. You're like, wait, is that a kicker? Is that the guy? There he is. He's watching the halftime show. So there's my 3 takeaways. No, but for real, I'll give you a fourth bonus one. Obviously, Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, and third's going to have to be Stafford and his wife, Kelly, who have just battled so much off the field, going from Detroit, having 0 playoff wins and 3 opportunities to getting the job done. I believe he becomes the 4th quarterback ever to change teams and win the Super Bowl the next year, with Trent Dilfer, Tom Brady, and I can't remember the 4th, including now Matt Stafford. So there's my third takeaway.
All right, TC, what's your 3 takeaways from the game?
My first takeaway would be the lack of protection for Joe Burrow. You just didn't see max protection for the Bengals. They kept going 4 and 5 wide, watching him sitting there getting hit repeatedly in the second half. He was a sitting duck back there. You know, they really didn't try to throw any traditional screen plays where they would let the rush come in and dump it over the rush. They didn't really try to slow down the rush. They did try to run the ball somewhat. I thought they should have stuck with the run a little bit more. But this is a Bengals team that better in the offseason draft offensive linemen and get one out of free agency because they got $45 million to spend, and they have got to protect Joe Burrow because he is their investment. And if you don't protect him, there's no future. And when he went down yesterday with the knee, I thought, you've got to be kidding me. So that would be my first takeaway. The second one is OBJ's injury yesterday. That changed the complexion for the Rams on offense because they could focus on covering Kupp more. And I think that contributed to the game being low scoring. And my third takeaway is the Bengals defense, how really underrated and good it is, because they shut down that high-flying Rams offense until the last drive of the game. And we'll get into that later on in the show about that last drive in the game. But those would be my three takeaways. And you mentioned it, JJ. We have the same bonus. Matt Stafford just shows how great of a quarterback he is, and we'll get into that deeper in the show too. 12 years in Detroit, no playoff wins. Went to the playoffs, 3 times? They should have won one of them. We talked about that in the last show. He won 4 straight and won the Super Bowl. Could you imagine if he was playing with a good team his entire career? Potentially, I'll say it again, potentially he would have more than one Super Bowl ring. He's a fabulous quarterback. He's always been an elite quarterback, and it also shows that football is a complete game. It is the ultimate team game. I don't care how good you are at quarterback. If you don't have a great offensive line, you're a sitting duck. No, by the way, Joe Burrow was a sitting duck yesterday.
All right. Now for the next questions, these will be timed questions, so you got a minute and a half to answer. Hall of Fame. Matt Ryan, Matt Stafford, should they be in? Should they be out? JJ.
Let it go first.
Yeah, yes for both, in my opinion. Again, I'll mention this one stat for each one. Well, I'll do 2 for Stafford. Stafford, with last night's win, has 35 fourth-quarter comeback wins in his NFL career. 34 was 5th. Now he's at 35. I don't know if that passed anybody for to move up in that statistic. He's thrown for 5,000 yards in a season. Only a handful of quarterbacks have done that. And now he's a Super Bowl champion. I think that's worthy. Maybe not first ballot. Maybe he trickles in like Drew Peterson very late in the process. But I think he does eventually get in there. And look, he still has a little bit of football left to play. And if he wins another one, or maybe he has a couple good seasons to close out his career in L.A., I think he'll cap off a Hall of Fame career. Matt Ryan, no doubt about it. He's an NFL MVP. He had one of the best Super Bowl performances in the QBR stat in history. And I think it still is the best performance in the from a quarterback that lost in that game. So you take away, and you want to talk about both these quarterbacks in a similarity. Falcons and Lions. Todd, we've mentioned this off air. What are they? They're cousins. They are historically bad franchises. And let's face it, folks, if you put Matt Ryan on,
3,
maybe he's a little bit better elsewhere.
1. All right.
They're both Hall of Famers.
All right, TC, how about you? Both Matt Stafford.
Ding, the bell on you, JJ. Out with it. Richard Sherman said it on a tweet today that the Hall of Fame grade is becoming a lot easier. I don't necessarily agree with that, but he said it. I think each of them are Hall of Famers too. I would actually give Stafford the nod over Matt Ryan. And I tweeted it out today. The difference is one won the Super Bowl, the other did not. One was up 27-3 and lost. One on the final drive decided to take a crucial sack instead of throwing the ball away. Yes, the other one played the Lions. They're a worse franchise than the Falcons. I mean, Matt Ryan's played on much better teams than Matt Stafford. The stats are pretty similar. They don't have any, they're not elite quarterbacks. by today's standards. I think Stafford would have been, had he been on a great team, would have been Matt Ryan. I'm not sure. I say each of them are Hall of Famers, but I give the nod over Stafford over Ryan. Stafford to me will take off and run when necessary. Matt Ryan doesn't really run at all, doesn't try to really, he'll roll out, he'll do that. But, in terms of who's a better quarterback, I think it's Stafford. He's got the better arm. He does throw a little more picks than Ryan, but Stafford to me has been, Ryan may be a little more consistent, but Stafford, when you need the play, he's going to get it.
All right. Next question. We're going to go to the, I need to give my answer. My answer is, it's questionable. Matt Ryan could get in on stats, and I think Matt Stafford could get in on, winning the Super Bowl and being in the league as long as he has. I think he deserves it. All right. Officiating in the Super Bowl. Does the NFL need to do a better job? Did it affect the outcome of the game? And how about those pass interference calls towards the end of the game? Go ahead, JJ.
Oh, you let him go first this time. We're supposed to switch up.
I wanted to hear TC's first, but I'll
right,
see this off. Go ahead, Todd. Go ahead. We'll have fun with it. Go ahead, Todd.
Good. Yes, I'm going to have a ball with this. You know what? When you're officiating games, all I'm asking for is consistency. And the inconsistency showed. You decided to keep the flag in the pocket the entire 3.5 quarters or plus of the football game. And then when the Rams' last drive, you decided to bring the flag out. And there were 2 horrendous calls that went against Cincinnati. The one was on 3rd down and 3rd and goal, which would have been 4th and goal. That could have changed the outcome of the game. And then on the first drive of the game, the wide receiver's shirt was tucked and pulled and yanked, and there was no call. Just be consistent. Did it affect the outcome of the game? Possibly. We'll never know that. But if they would have called that penalty, then yes, it would have been 4th down, and yes, maybe Cincinnati would have won. But I do think the players did decide the game overall. But yes, I would like to see consistency from the regular season to the postseason to the Super Bowl. You're going to call it tighter in the regular season and postseason than you in the Super Bowl? Nah, be consistent.
All right, JJ, how about you?
Wow, I thought it was a pretty well officiated ball game. It went both ways early. They pulled the flags out late. I thought it was a hold. I thought it was pass interference too. There was a call missed on the T. Higgins 75-yard touchdown pass. He clearly yanked Ramsey's face mask and pulled him in front of him and was able to take it to the house. So I think there was a little bit of that both ways, tit for tat. To answer your questions, there are 3. I don't think the NFL really has to do much better. I think these NFL referees are taught, hey, let's let the play out and we can go change it on replay. And I think that has brought a lot of inconsistency that Todd's talking about into the game of the officiating. So I thought it was a pretty good job last night, and I'll be a little bit shorter, and I'll just say, look, I think it was pass interference. I think it was a good call. The ball was in the air, and Logan had his arms around Kupp, and the ball was in the air, and they threw the flag. I think it was a decently call. I think it was a decently called game, and I can see your argument about consistency, but you know what? They threw the flag. The players did decide it. Cooper Kupp made a great back shoulder grab to win the game.
All right.
Wayne, consistency.
No. Hey, time is up.
I was going to say nobody knows what the hell pass interference is. It's inconsistent.
All right. Now we're going to go to the next question. This involves something that I usually have a lot of opinion on. Halftime show. Do changes need to be made? We're going to go with TC first on this one.
Oh, man. JJ and I talked about this earlier today off the air. Hell yes, changes need to be made. The halftime show, they need to bring a band from an HBCU band, let them go for about 5, 6, 7 minutes max, and let another collegiate band from another school come and do a halftime show. And then at the end of the game, if you guys want to have a concert or you want to have whoever you want to have come in and do it, do it, but it would be after the presentation, after the game is over, after the Super Bowl trophy is given, after all the hoopla's over, then come out. Everybody can stay, and they're going to have a little Super Bowl concert afterwards and do it like that, because there's just too much of a generation gap compared to what some people like and what they don't like. And halftime only needs to be 15 minutes. Professional football players are a creature of habit. Going in the regular season and the postseason, you're at 15-minute halftimes. And then all of a sudden you get the Super Bowl, you got a 30-minute halftime. You got all these commercials in between the game. No, I want, again, the word is consistency. Players are a creature of habit. Yes, they need to change it all together.
All right. JJ, go ahead.
Yeah, I ring with Todd the same bell. And I'll say this. I love the halftime show. I'm in my 30s. I grew up with Dr. Dre. I grew up with Eminem, 50 Cent, all these guys. I saw 4 out of the 5 artists last night at the halftime show in concert in my life. So, yeah, I was happy. But I'm like Todd. The AFC and the NFC championship games are honestly the best games of the year because you get in, you get the game played. It's in and out. It's all about football. If you're a football fan, let's speed up halftime. Let's not give the extra coach the extra quarter basically to adjust and make those adjustments. Belichick did it against the Falcons in an extended halftime. Really cost Atlanta. I think it really cost Cincinnati and a lot of momentum at halftime. They came out firing, obviously, with the 75-yard touchdown pass, but I think they should speed it up a little bit. It is Black History Month when February rolls around, and I think they should bring an HBCU band out to play and entertain the fans and have a big production afterwards. You can still have the cameras rolling. You still get all of your viewership for the halftime show that you would for the halftime show, but you get the trophy presentation plus a show, and the antics are after the game. So football guys like Todd and I, we can be happy.
All right. You've wrapped it up before, and both of you are getting in your things on time there. All right. As far as I feel, yeah, I know. I like the halftime show the way it is. You have to understand that for the Super Bowl, there is a higher percentage of non-football fans watching the game or really not even watching the game, and they love to see a big production halftime show, and so the NFL gives it to them. The other games leading up to the Super Bowl, I think it would be great to have some band out there playing from a collegiate level. But for the Super Bowl, I think they need to have a big show like they've been having for halftime.
I love it.
All right, Super Bowl format. Do changes need to be made? I'm not even sure what kind of format we're talking about here, but JJ, you go ahead first.
No, I think the format for the Super Bowl is great. The only thing I might change is don't play the Pro Bowl the week before. Let's not have a 2-week break. Just get it done. Play the thing the week after the championship games and move on. And that's my answer. I'll keep it short and simple.
All right.
Change the format, and here's why. Every game is always played a week apart during the regular season or 4 games apart. You do get bye weeks in, so some teams are waiting 2 weeks to play. And I know why they wait 2 weeks to play, because that's the hoopla. The media gets a week, and then there's a week to prep and all that. And to me, players, again, they're a creature of habit. And, all the commercials, all the wait time, all this that's going on in the field, it's not a normal game. Why change the most important game of the year from the rest of the games that are being played? It's got to be, to me, it needs to be played 7 days after the AFC and NFC championship games. The game needs to be played outdoors and on grass. So I would change a lot of things about it.
Well,
I will piggyback off your point there, Todd. There has been a lot of NFL talent coming around saying that this field turf is becoming unsafe. OBJ is rumored to have gotten a cleat stuck in that field turf last night and causing an ACL injury. So maybe the grass is making an argument to come back.
All right. Well, as far as I'm concerned, the only thing I would change is, like JJ said, move the Pro Bowl to a different time, either after the Super Bowl or, dig this, do it after the preseason games before the regular season starts. All right, we'll
It
go to the
used to
next.
be the Pro Bowl used to be after the Super Bowl.
Yeah. All right. Well, the next one is should Cooper Kupp have been the Super Bowl MVP? And who wants to go first on this?
Hell no. Hell no. You wait, you go second. Hell no. Anybody with a functional brain should have picked Aaron Donald or just take the entire Rams defensive line, because without that Rams D line and Aaron Donald, who has to be double teamed, you can't block him with one man. He changes the scheme, the strategy, and the complexion on the offensive line, and he was the most dominant force in the Super Bowl yesterday. Kupp didn't even get 100 yards receiving, yet he's the MVP. Sorry, no way in hell. It's Aaron Donald, case closed. And if you want to give it to the rest of his defensive line, fine, give them all whatever you want.
All right, JJ.
I'm all about a co-MVP. I think both players put their impact on the game. Cooper Kupp, look, the Rams weren't able to pick up a first down rushing the entire night until Cooper Kupp got it on a 4th and 1 on a sweep play. That got them the first down, that got the drive going to win the game. I think Cooper Kupp did enough. He had 8 catches, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns. If Stafford doesn't throw one less pick, he's probably the MVP of this game, let's face it. But I do agree with you, Todd. I think it could have been Aaron Donald, but I'm not going to take away what Cooper Kupp did on that final drive to take over the game and say, I'm not losing the Super Bowl. The 0-star recruit, Eastern Washington, what a story Cooper Kupp is. I don't hate on it, but you know what? I do agree with you. I think Aaron Donald affected the game much more throughout. But Cooper Kupp had a great last drive, and, you know, the lasting impression, what we talk about in the show, is what got him the MVP. That behind-the-shoulder catch, a great route, and he overtook that last drive with the first down, and I believe it was 3 or 4 catches with the touchdown as well. So I'm okay with him having the MVP, but I would have much rather seen a co-MVP for the first time and have the defense and the offensive split it. That's the only way it would have done it for me last night. But I do agree with you, Todd. Aaron Donald could have taken that award, and I would have been okay with it. But
It's
I'm fine with Cooper Kupp taking it because of the dominance.
All right, we'll get into the
It's not even
later.
close. It's all about the offense.
I agree.
It's not even close. The defense isn't even considered. Defense wins championships.
Well, Von Miller did win the Super Bowl MVP of Super Bowl 56 years ago, so it has happened.
All right. Well, we're going to have to I'm going to say he should have been the MVP of the Super Bowl simply because, number one, he was played on the winning team. So that's one criteria. The second one, he made the biggest impact in how the outcome of the game happened simply because of, without him, I don't think the Rams would have had hardly any offense at all because they were really limited on their tools. All right. Next question. Should the Super Bowl be played at the same site every year, and should it be played in a dome?
Ooh.
All right.
No, that's
JJ, you go ahead.
That's a good question.
I did all these questions.
I like the fact that it travels around the country. I think it brings average football fans that might not get to see the game and go to the fanfare and experience Super Bowl, the camaraderie of it, the events, the pageantry of it. So I think it is cool. I do like that they move it around the country. Yeah, I'll keep it simple. I like it. I think it's fine. Moving around the country, grass, turf, it don't matter. Play the game as long as it's in a indoor or a tropical environment where it's going to be warm. Play the game.
All right, TC.
No dome. Football needs to be played outdoors, especially a championship game. I know in college football, it's in the SEC and it's in a dome, and the Big Ten, it's a dome. I'm just sick of domes. I'm sick of it. I just am. Play it outdoors, and yes, play it on grass. Get away from, look at all the injuries that are happening on turf. Look at OBJ. No, outdoors and on grass in terms of different sites. You know what? If it was played down in South Florida and Miami every year, I'd be okay with that. But if they move it around, fine. Move it around, put it in a warm climate, have it outdoors and on grass. I'm all about the tradition.
All right. Well, my 2 cents on that is I think they should keep moving it around, and it doesn't matter dome, no dome. And really, I think they ought to swap up. Sometimes have it cold, sometimes have it tropical, just because, just to throw a little bit more in there. All right. Next question. Should the NFL outlaw field turf and go with grass only?
Yes.
TC, we're going to let you go first.
Yes. Thank you very much. Yes, yes, and yes. I know. What is it always about, JJ? What does it always come back to? The money. Thank you. That's the only reason that they're playing these games at a high school level, at a college level, at a professional level on turf is to save money. Turf causes injuries. I mentioned earlier, OBJ. I want all these games on grass, period. Get rid of the field turf. It's causing too many injuries.
All right.
I do second that. I played high school ball. I played on regular old school AstroTurf at the Georgia Dome before it was taken down. Then the Georgia Dome got field turf put in, and I played on it as well. Boy, it makes you feel faster, but boy, it cuts up your arms and it hurts when you fall. Supposedly there were some concussion studies done. It's a little softer on your head. I don't agree with that. I think grass.
No.
If you get a good rain or a good dew in the morning, cover the field. By the end of the night, it's covered in dew again. It's a little soggy. It's a little soft. You get great grip. I think grass is the way to go. You mentioned OBJ. Let's take it down to the college level. Jameson Williams in the championship game. He tweaked his knee in the college football playoff championship game in Indianapolis in the second quarter, and that would look like it got stuck in the turf. So yeah, I could go with all grass. I could outlaw turf, but Todd says it's all about money, and it costs money to have a grounds crew.
Yeah, well, I feel like they should not outlaw the field turf. I'm okay with it, and the only reason I would not be is if there were more injuries per game that you could definitely say was part of the field turf. But one injury makes me feel like maybe you could have made a different decision on cleats or something like that. Because I know
They get stuck.
yeah, well, they want them to be a little bit tacky so they can do those left and right cuts when they've got the ball. So, that's and plus that was a previous injury too, wasn't it? Wasn't that knee injured before?
I believe it was, but
Yeah.
I'm not 100% on OBJ's if it was the left or the right knee.
Right.
But
The players don't.
I hated to see OBJ go down. He's been through so much. Speaking while we're on OBJ, he set a record for the most touchdowns when he left the first team he was on in the season. If you're holding with me, I don't think he had many touchdowns in Cleveland. He comes to LA, and I believe that was his 6th or 7th touchdown, which broke the record for most touchdowns in a year away from your original team. Pretty cool.
Something. Why do all these prima donna wide receivers or these great football players who are a pain in the neck get rewarded and go to a really good team? I mean, to me, that's just the easy way out of getting you a ring. OBJ did not earn that ring. I don't care what you say. He didn't earn it. He played for the Giants in Cleveland. He got to skip around because of his behavior, just like Mr. Slapshot Antonio Brown did. He didn't earn the ring neither. To me, that's a cheap way of getting a ring.
All right, last question. Should the Super Bowl be played earlier on Sunday or maybe even on a Saturday?
No.
TC, we'll let you go first.
No, no, no. Go ahead and let JJ. I'm
All
glad
right,
JJ.
JJ, you go ahead.
Nice and easy. No, it's Super Bowl Sunday for a reason. Earlier in the day, I could go for it. I could go for a 3 o'clock Eastern time or that 4:15 time slot. But I like Super Bowl Sunday at 6:30. I think you get the most views. You're going to have the West Coast and the East Coast, and you'll have the Central all viewing friendly. The game was over around 10 o'clock last night, so it wasn't extremely late. So I like it. Super Bowl Sunday, about 6:18 is when they kick off usually. I like it. Keep it as is. Super Bowl Sunday sounds better than Super Bowl Saturday.
How about you,
I
TC?
get it. I totally get it, but I can tell you right now, a lot of people skip work. I'm a traditionalist, so I like Super Bowl Sunday, but I'll play devil's advocate here and say Saturday. The reason I'm going to do it is because a lot of people skip work. They're hungover. They won't go to work. It hurts companies' productivity. They won't take a vacation day. They'll just call in sick. And if you put it on Saturday, you can have the game 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. It doesn't matter. You can stay up late, all time zones. And you can make it a holiday. You can make it a holiday weekend, and you can make it a whole gigantic. You can just call it Super Bowl weekend instead of Super Bowl Sunday. I know it doesn't sound right, but you could call it Super Bowl weekend, where the game is on Saturday. Everybody can talk about it on Sunday. They don't have to go to work, and they can stay up real late on Saturday, do whatever they want because they know there's no repercussions the next day. That's why I took the other side.
Yeah. Well, how about if I give a third side?
And I hope it's the president should go ahead and make it a holiday, please.
Well,
I didn't say make it a holiday.
Yeah.
Just make it a federal national holiday the Monday after Super Bowl. That's the simplest way to solve it.
Maybe,
no,
maybe,
no, I don't want the federal government resolving anything. They can't even tie their own. That's a story for another day.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, maybe I've got a solution for all these problems. How about if we have the Super Bowl on Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. and instead of playing it on grass or turf, we play it on beach sand. How about that? Beach
How much
sand.
alcohol have you had today?
Not enough.
Okay. Well, you've had some because your brain's been affected with that.
Well, it could be after. It could be those guitars back there. Who knows? All right. Well, that wraps up just about all the questions. But I wanna make one comment. The reason I have this hat on that TC gave me, I appreciate that, is because that today is the first day of the Atlanta Falcons' march to Super Bowl 57.
I like it. As a fan, I love it. But you know what? There's a lot of work that needs to be done. Speaking of our Atlanta Falcons here in town, the draft is coming around. Do they trade down? What do the Falcons do in this draft is going to be what we're talking about in the next couple of weeks here on ATL Prime Sports. But there's a lot of needs for our Dirty Birds, Wayne. And this is the NFL. Anything can happen. And anything will happen, as we saw with the Super Bowl last night. But overall, hats off to Los Angeles and the Rams. Great season. The stars aligned, like we said. Eric Weedle, Von Miller, Aaron Donald's even talking about retirement now. We'll have to pay attention to that one. That'll be fun to watch this offseason.
Yep.
You know what? You just mentioned the Atlanta Falcons. It's the first day of them getting back to the Super Bowl. Anything can happen and yada, yada, yada. You know what? All the Falcons need is a hell of a lot better offense and defensive line, and they'll be right back in it. Just think that. I mean, goodness golly. I don't know what happened here. Something happened. I guess my phone's starting to die. Sorry about that, fellas.
All right.
No. You know what? The Falcons are so far from the Super Bowl. It's unreal. Their offense and defensive lines are terrible.
Let me ask you this question, Todd. Did you think the Bengals were going to be here this year?
What?
After a 4-win season last year, did you say the Bengals would be here this year? Because the Falcons had 7 wins last year. That would be a better turnaround. I don't count anything out in the NFL. Nothing.
You know what? I'm glad that you don't count it out. But you know what? That Falcon defense compared to the Bengals defense and the Falcons plus minus was worse than it was right there with the Detroit Lions. The Falcons were so bad last year. Their win-loss record way exceeded the compared to the Lions. I don't think the Falcons were even better than the Lions last year overall due to the plus minus, giving up runs, giving up points compared to, scoring points. They were not a good team. They could actually have a better team next year and regress with a record that's not as good as this year. They're pretty bad. They have a lot of holes to fill. And if they get to the Super Bowl, I'll buy you all steaks next year from your favorite steakhouse. That's how confident I am that they're not going to get there. Even though the division, well, as of right now, is wide open, but it may not be if Tom Brady comes back. And I think he's going to come back. Now, is it going to be with Tampa? Who knows?
Who knows what happens? Nobody knows. Guys, that's our show for ATL Prime Sports. If you like these videos, give us a subscribe on YouTube, please. If you like the show listening on Spotify or Apple, give us a review. And we are live Fridays, 4 to 4:30 on blogtalkradio.com/Mancini Sports. Or you can dial in at 347-205-9631. For Todd, for Wayne in Memphis, I'm JJ. Thanks for listening. Get you one. We'll see you next week, folks.